All right, y'all. Good morning. We're going to take a quick look at the anatomy of a narrative, particularly this one surrounding the failed assassination of Louisville Mayoral Candidate Craig Geenberg by Quintez Brown, who's a brilliant, well-known young leader and activist in the Louisville community. So we're going to start out looking at some of the local news footage here. We've got WL News out of Louisville, and this is some of their initial what she's got to say. Here's her with a megaphone, really fucking leading the charge of the revolution. I'm sure she is driven entirely by material concerns, no ideological ones.
I'm thanking God today. I am thanking God, and I am praying that someone and the mental health support and resources that you so desperately have needed for the last year.
When you inquired as to whether he was getting help, as you just said, what did you learn from people here in Louisville? What were they telling you?
There was no clear conclusion that he was in a supportive rehabilitation program, or that he had, been in spaces where he had fully come to terms with what happened to him last year.
Quote, been in spaces, end quote, where he's fully come to terms with what happened to him last year. So, I mean, the dude went missing for like 2 weeks last year. He's a fucking adult, okay? He doesn't need to check in with anybody. He wound up in New York, which is why this lady is an activist in New York, so I guess, she's relevant to that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all. They're just fucking turning over rocks, looking for anybody to be like, his mental health, he needs the support. Yo, fucking lots of people have mental health issues. The vast minority of them are able to refrain from shooting political opponents. Even when somebody fucking attacks some random lady, like hypothetically, if some dude in New York who happened to be black hit some lady who happened to be Asian in the back of the head with a baseball bat, no one's like, oh, mental health. It's fucking ridiculous.
Now, investigators have not released a possible motive in the shooting just yet.
They haven't released a possible motive in the shooting just yet. By this time, everyone's had a chance to see someone who's progressive say something like, liberals get the bullet too. They're trying to play this game of fucking hide the ball, like this dude doesn't have clear political motives. He is a wannabe revolutionary ideologue. Got someone who he viewed as trying to uphold the status quo, and that's about it. There's not really a whole lot of mystery here. And what's funny is these days, you can kind of see the tide turning in terms of the narratives, just completely in free fall, totally down, and people watching this, increasingly, people watching news coverage like this, where some fucking guy like this purple tide fuck says, authorities haven't released a motive yet. We don't need authorities to fucking release the motive. Okay? Authorities and investigators, obviously, it's their job to look into things like this and be able to bring evidence to the table. But we don't need help from someone who happens to have a badge and, some investigatory credentials to figure out what the motivation is for the assassination of a mayoral candidate. I mean, this fucking guy wasn't even the mayor yet. The other dude was running for some sort of city council position, so, it's just, the dude's fucking crazy, but he's a crazy ideologue activist, and that's the whole point. Gabrielo Princip, when he fucking looked up from his sandwich and was like, oh, I'm going to go shoot Franz Ferdinand. I'm sure back in the day, there were people who were like, oh, his mental health is fucking a huge concern to us. We really need to get him the support that he needs from the community. It's fucking crazy.
Today, LNPD Police Chief Erica Shields said exploring all options.
Mr. Geenberg is Jewish, so...
Oh, Mr. Geenberg's Jewish. Maybe we can kind of fold this into the narrative of extremist white nationalist violence by just kind of deflecting to the fact that he's Jewish. We'll do some Rittenhouse shit and make people think that the races of the people involved are completely different. Let's see if fucking Chief Shields here fucking mentions the idea of a political motive. I would bet she doesn't. She's going to say, as she just said, fucking, he's Jewish, and then after that, she's going to be like, we're not sure of any other motive, but we're keeping all possibilities open, and it's still in the course of the investigation.
There's that. We don't know if it's tied to the candidate, political, or if it's just, are we dealing with someone who has mental issues or is venomous? I don't know. So we have to...
It is venomous? I had listened to this once before. I thought maybe I had misheard it, but she actually says venomous, as if that's like a characterization. Excuse me. As if venomous is a characterization that we put onto people a lot of the time. But let's see here.
Really keep an open mind and really just be diligent in taking care of our community.
A spokesperson for Greenberg's campaign did not have any additional comment tonight, telling us they'll have more to say on this tomorrow.
All right. So, generally, glowing reviews of this guy, Quintez Brown. Here's WLKY News in Louisville, another local channel. This is their reporting that came out first thing after Quintez Brown was identified. So, what we know right now about gunmen who shot at Louisville mayoral candidate. Let's see. All right.
Quarters of a candidate for Louisville's next mayor and started shooting.
Craig Geenberg says he was nearly hit by one of those bullets, but thankfully neither he nor his staff were hurt. WLKY's Gladys, following this case, she joins us now live. Gladys, a lot of people are counting their blessings tonight.
Well, Vicki, Rick, that's definitely right. They're thankful that whilst scary and traumatizing, that no one was hurt when a lone gunman entered into Mayoral.
All right, so this is like a 2-minute news segment. It's a minute and 55 seconds. We've learned nothing about the gunman at all, except for the fact that a gunman, walked into the office and started firing shots and missed. So, I just kind of want to see how little information they give out in this fucking clip that's ostensibly about the gunman.
Craig Geenberg's campaign headquarters. And we just heard from Geenberg within the last hour, who says that while this was an incredibly scary situation, he is thankful that tonight he and his team are all right, and he calls himself blessed. Now we want to show you some video that we shot earlier. OKY Chopper HD was flying high above as Geenberg and members of his campaign team were escorted out from his campaign headquarters in Marketplace this morning. Geenberg says he...
All right, so now, again, we're going back to the fucking live footage that was so amazing of literally nothing from above this building. The situation was already over, and still they're fucking going through and showing us this old footage instead of telling us anything about the gunman. So I guess maybe what we know right now was nothing is the answer to this question.
And 4 members of his team were having a campaign meeting when a man walked into the office. When the man was greeted, Geenberg says he pulled out a gun, aimed it at Geenberg, and began shooting at him. He then says one of the members of the team was able to shut the door, which Geenberg... Now, police had the entire area around the marketplace at Story Avenue and Spring Street shut down for over an hour. Geenberg says he spent the afternoon speaking with LMPD, adding that while he is thankful the incident highlights another issue plaguing the metro that must be addressed. Now, just to paraphrase, he says that today is not a day. It's a day to really put the issue of guns and violence in the city into perspective.
Oh, it's just a guns issue. We're a minute and 43 seconds into a clip called What We Know Right Now About the Gunman Who Shot at a Louisville mayoral candidate, and they've said literally fucking nothing about the person. Have mentioned that gun control is necessary, so that's a big deal.
Do you expect that charged at some point today on a motive from police? We're live in downtown Louisville for you tonight. Gladys Bautista, WLKY News.
All right, so no mention of any characteristics of the suspect whatsoever, deflecting from the possible motive again. Now, it looks like this is the one where WL does come out and identify the shooter. They've got his picture up here in the thumbnail. We're going to click this one. Let's just take a look real quick and kind of see how they covered it.
Tonight, a local activist is charged with the attempted murder of a Louisville mayoral candidate.
Police have identified 21-year-old.
still going with the local activist thing, even though he's being charged at this point.
Quintez Brown has shots at Craig Geenberg and his staff earlier today. WLKY's Shaquille Lord, his reaction tonight. He's live with the latest. Shaq?
Yeah, Vicky, as you mentioned, he is an activist. He's a former columnist, and he even had his eyes set on running for Louisville Metro Council.
I just gotta say, Shaquille Lord is a fucking sick name. I hope this dude hoops. If he does, I hope he's a beast in the post.
But tonight, the 21-year-old attempted murder and is behind bars.
We want to kill candidates so that other people can't vote for them.
Strong words from Metro Council James. It comes after finding out former local columnist Quintez Brown was identified as the man who police say the Louisville Mayoral Candidate Craig.
All of us are blessed, and I'm blessed to be with you.
Around 10 this morning, Officer Geenberg.
Here's that amazing footage again. It's that they've got this. This is some shit that could be done on Google Earth.
Campaign headquarters and for a report of an active aggressor. Police say Brown entered Greenberg's office and fired several shots at him, just grazing his. Neither Geenberg nor his 4 staff members were injured physically. Hours after the shooting, Geenberg says he's still trying to grab.
Shaken up, it was a surreal, and mostly right now, I just want to get home to my wife and sons and give them a hug.
He's thinking of his staff. They were able to bear.
This dude's clearly traumatized after nearly having his life ended, so we're not going to go too hard on him, but it'd be fucking